Hi, this video is going to show you how you can copy your Genesis grading profile from last year to this year and then make some modifications to that profile. I'll also show you how you can create a new profile either for some new classes you might have this year or just because you want to start from scratch. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is go to Genesis and type in your user ID and your password. Once you're inside Genesis, you need to come over here to where it says Profiles and click. And you'll see that you have one profile here. It's called the Required Marking Period Grading Profile. It's been assigned to all of your classes, and this is a school type profile. And right now there are only two categories of summative and formative. So let's say you did not like this profile and you had customized and created your own profile last year, and you would just like to get that profile from last year and reuse that profile or other profiles that you have. What would you do? Well, you would simply come over here on the left hand side to where it says the tab last year and click, and then you'll see it says from 2019-2020. And you're going to come right here and copy profile by clicking right here to your 2020-2021 school year. And it will ask you if you're sure. Click OK. And then give it a moment and it disappears from here. And if you come over here back to this tab to where it says List Profiles and click, now you'll see you have that profile from last year, and I know it's from last year. I had named it Spanish 2019-2020. So the first thing I want to do is rename this profile so that it is representative of what I'm teaching in this current year. So I'm still doing, let's say, Spanish and 2021, okay? And right away I have to hit save, and now the name is updated. And you can tell this is different from the other profile. This was a school-based profile. It cannot be deleted. There's no trash can. It's just there by default. This is a teacher-based profile. You never want to change anything in the school-based profile. You always want to work with a teacher-based profile. I'll show you in a little bit how to create a profile, your own custom profile. For now, I know I'm in my teacher profile. I have 4 categories, weighted categories from last year that were carried over. If I would like to go through and review and do any updates, I would come over here under the Open column and click on this little P, Open Profile. And then I will go across in these tabs for the preferences. You'll simply look at how your marking period grades are calculated, whether you want it by weights or total points. And then you can just go down as to what you're going to view inside of your grade book. Do you want to view assignments by their due date and ascending, descending, and all of the icons for students, their IEPs and medical icons, which default to yes. And then, of course, making sure that these settings apply to all 4 marking periods. After you make any changes on this page, make sure you hit Save Preferences at the bottom. Then you can come up here and go to the next tab, Grade Translations. At the top, you'll see the grade translations, which are set up by the district, so there's not much you can do. But if you scroll down to the bottom, there are 2 sections here that you can add either preset grades or custom grades. In this case, this teacher has check pluses, minuses, and checks that are a little bit differently translated than what we see up here that the district has set. And then right here, you'll see things related to extra credit, handed in and not handed in, and kind of another little grading profile that they would like to have available when they are grading their assignments. So that's going to be your preference. Any changes you make here, make sure you go to the bottom and hit the save. And then you can come over here to your categories. This particular teacher has tests, quizzes, projects, and then homework. And then the weighted percentages are 35, 30, 15, and 20. To add a new category, you simply click on the plus sign. The code, this is 20, 30, 40, 50, so the next code would be 60. You could put in a description, let's say it was classwork, and then down here you select your grading type that you would want to use. I would keep it at numeric or pick some other type, and then click Create. That will get added to your list of categories. And then you have to re-weight them because right now it adds to 100. and maybe you want to make homework 10% and the classwork 10%. And then you need to do that, of course, for each marking period. Here you would have to change that across the board. Marking period 2 and 3, and finally marking period 4 right here. And then once you're finished, you can make some changes here, whether it be numeric or alphabetic, and then total points. It's always out of 100. If you want to change that, you can do that. And then you have your colors that you want your grades to be seen in. If you change your mind, you can always delete one of those records right there. Once you're finished, you would hit Save Categories, and that would set up your category weights. If you change your mind, we can delete this, and I'm going to go back to the 20% for each marking period, and then save it on the bottom. Okay, so now we're back to the 100%. And that pretty much is how you would modify the profile. So if I come back over here to my profiles, now I have everything set up the way I want it, but you'll notice that underneath courses, nothing is listed. All of my courses are still connected to that school-wide default of required marking period grading. So in order to get the courses associated with my profile for this school year, I need to come up here to the Setup tab and click on that. And then you'll notice right at the top, I have my grade book. I'm in my HR, which is my homeroom for that grade book. And while homeroom doesn't get graded, I do usually change the profiles for all of the classes starting with the homeroom. And you would do that by coming down here to this drop down. And then right here where you see Spanish 2020-2021, that's the profile. You would click on that. That's that profile we just made that we copied from last year. And then you need to click on this Change Profile button to save that to homeroom. You have to drop down once that is complete and do that for each of your classes this year. So now I'm going to go to my Period 2 Spanish and come down here and switch over to my Spanish profile and click on Change Profile. And I'll continue to do that for each of the classes. Once I have done that for all of my classes, I can check to make sure that the profile has been transferred to my current courses by coming back over here to the Profiles tab. And you'll see that under the school profile, none of my courses are listed, and all 6 of my courses are now listed next to the profile that I copied from last year. And that's pretty much how you would copy a profile and apply it to your classes this year. Part 2 of this is, what if you wanted to create your own profile and you didn't have one? Maybe you didn't have this from last year. You're a new teacher, or you have a new course and you want to create a new profile altogether for that new course. Maybe you teach Spanish and something else. So what you can do is you can start with any of the profiles you have in your list. For example, we'll take the school default profile, and you never want to make changes. I think I said this earlier, to this particular profile. You want to make a copy of it. And the way we do that is right over here in the copy column. We're going to click, and you'll see it says it's a copy. And then right away we will rename that profile. So I'm just going to name example course. Let's say that was my course. And then I like to give it a name and then always the date for this year. And then make sure you hit Save Profile, and that profile name is now saved. And now I can come over here. I only have summative and formative, but if I come under the Open and click on this little P, Open Profile Setup, I can then go in and go through these tabs like we saw when we copied the profile and make any changes, whether it be category to total points, and just go through the grade translations down here if I want to add anything in, and then the categories, and add or delete any of these categories by clicking up here and then making sure to save. And then once I'm all finished editing my profiles, I need to come back over here, and you'll see that it's not assigned to any classes. I would then need to go to my setup, and let's say this just applied to my homeroom class. I I would come there, and then I would drop down here under course profile and select the new profile that I just created and click on the change profile. Give it a moment to save. And then when I come back over here under profiles, you'll notice that my copy profile from last year is applied to 5 of my classes, and the new profile that I created this year is applied to 1 of my classes. And that is how you would either copy your profile for grading from last year or create a new profile and apply it to any classes you might have this year. If you have any questions, let me know.